This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning. The F&M calling for answers from Grand Bahama on the Grand Lucayan and the airport. Could the PLP be looking to hold a pre-election convention? And we are talking about your mental health. That's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Monday, January 26th, 2026. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, DeAndrew Cartwright will be joining us. Also this morning, we're going to be talking about the RF Economic Outlook. That conference just a few weeks away. We'll get details about that. That's all ahead on this Monday. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, F&M leader Michael Pintard demanding that the Davis administration publish the status of the Grand Lucayan deal and provide a clear plan for the island's airport. Pintard, speaking during a press conference outside the resort yesterday, saying the property has become a symbol of what Grand Bahama has suffered under the Davis administration, saying it was clouded by silence, delay, and secrecy. He said, quote, for 8 months, 255 days, the government has allowed the situation to drag on while Grand Bahama pays the price. Grand Bahamians have heard announcements, whispers, and they've seen headlines, but they've not seen the facts. Last May, the government signed a heads of agreement with Concord Wilshire Capital to sell the resort for $120 million. The agreement was celebrated with a ceremony at the property in Grand Bahama. However, since the signing, little to no updates have been provided by the government. Nearly 2 weeks ago, Prime Minister Philip Davis promised a substantive address to Parliament on developments specific to Grand Bahama. He made the comments at a press statement, that followed a national address. Davis says he's fully aware that Grand Bahamians have questions about a range of issues that are important to them. But Parliament has met several times since then, and the Prime Minister has not delivered his promised communication on Grand Bahama. Well, the Nassau Guardian understands that the PLP might be planning to hold a pre-election convention as early as next month. Sources in the party say that the leader and deputy leader positions are not expected to be contested, but there is talk of a race for chairman. Nassau Guardian has been told that Latrey Ramming, Director of Communications in the Office of the Prime Minister, is lobbying for support to run for chairman. He had no comment when called yesterday, though. PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell told the Tribune last week that he doesn't expect to campaign for chairman for the PLP again. The party's convention is expected to be used as a vehicle by Prime Minister Davis to energize PLPs ahead of the election. The Guardian also understands that the party, which just ratified 15 candidates last Thursday, is expected to ratify its remaining 13 candidates this Sunday. In a letter on Friday, the Bahamas Nurses Union advising its members that a new Public Hospital Authority overtime policy, which requires prior approval from the managing director before any overtime payments are made, is in breach of the industrial agreement. The BNU advising its members not to work excess hours until there is clarity on the issue of payment. In that memo dated January 14th, PHA Deputy Financial Controller Ryan Bastian informing staff of the new policy to take effect January 2026 pay period. The memo says that the new policy is a result of an exhausted overtime budget allocation. A 39-year-old man, an electrician, on Friday sentenced to 3 years in prison after police found a loaded gun in his Yellow Elder Gardens home. Tuan Francis will spend an additional year behind bars if a $5,000 fine isn't paid. Francis pleaded guilty to possession of an unlicensed firearm and ammunition at his arraignment before Magistrate Lennox Colby Sr. According to the prosecutor, ASP Lincoln McKenzie, police officers found the gun in a bedroom drawer when they executed a search warrant on Francis's home on January 22nd. In his interview, Francis admitted that the gun was his and said that he'd had it for 5 years. Nevertheless, police arrested and charged 3 of Francis's relatives in relation to the find. He apologized to them in court. As a result of the plea, the prosecution withdrew the charges against Francis's family. A magistrate ordering the forfeiture of $15,610 seized from a passenger over 2 years ago after determining it was the proceeds of crime. Anderson Francois telling police that an unknown male gave him an envelope with the money as he headed to New Providence from Eleuthera on December 5th, 2023. But Francois was detained by police after security screeners noticed a suspicious package in his carry-on bag. He was arrested after police found him in possession of $19,650. Inspector Rose Josie told the court that she was able to trace the origin of $4,040 of that money during a subsequent investigation. As for the $15,650, Josie said that Francois did not claim ownership of the money, but said it had been handed to him by a stranger who told him to call the number on the envelope when he arrived in New Providence. Josie said that she called the number on the envelope multiple times, but no one ever picked up. Additionally, she said no one came forward to claim the money. After hearing the evidence, Senior Magistrate Anishka Isaacs ordered the forfeiture of the funds, saying that she was satisfied that it was derived from the proceeds of unlawful conduct or intended to be used for unlawful conduct. Francois did not oppose the application. Overseas, Haiti's long-running political crisis deepened Friday when the country's Transitional Presidential Council announced it had voted to fire Prime Minister Alex Didier Fiamé just 2 weeks before the panel is supposed to step down. Edgar Leblanc-Fille made the announcement at a news conference alongside fellow council members, saying a majority of the panel took the step in a vote Thursday, defying calls from the U.S. government to maintain stability in the country's leadership. No other members of the panel were at the news conference, just one other. The U.S. State Department said in a statement late Thursday that keeping Fiamé in the position was integral to Haiti's efforts to overcome the gangs terrorizing the country, and warned that any politicians supporting the vicious gangs would pay a steep price. LeBlanc did not elaborate on the reasons why council members had turned against Fiamé, who they chose for the position in November 2024. But LeBlanc said the council would secure a replacement within 30 days to find the way to fully restore security and stability. and enter what he called a cycle of development, correct the mistakes of the past, and look ahead. So that announcement coming as the council faces increased pressure to hold a general election for the first time in a decade. Tentative dates were set for August and December this year to elect a president for the first time since President Jovenel Moïse was killed at his home in July 2021. Gang violence has surged since then, with armed men controlling an estimated 90% of Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince, and swaths of land in the country's central region. More than 8,100 killings were reported across the country of nearly 11 million from January to November of last year, according to the United Nations, which warns that those figures are underreported. A ferry with more than 350 people on board sank early today near an island in the southern Philippines, killing at least 15 people. Rescuers saved at least 316 passengers and crew members, retrieved 15 bodies, and a fleet of boats backed by a surveillance plane were carrying out a search and rescue operation for the missing. Coast Guard officials say the cargo and passenger ferry apparently encountered technical problems and sank after midnight. The vessel abruptly tilted to one side and took on water, hurling people into the sea in the darkness. That's according to a rescued passenger who lost his 6-month-old baby. That man saying that he and his wife, who had been holding their child, were rescued, but the baby drowned. That boat was sailing in good weather from the port city of Zamboanga to southern Jolo Island in Sulu Province with 332 people aboard and 27 crew members. It sank about a nautical mile from the Basilan province. The cause of the ferry sinking not immediately clear. There will be an investigation. And a massive winter storm making for a brutal travel day across the United States Sunday, with widespread cancellations and delays at some of the U.S.'s busiest airports. Widespread snow, sleet, and freezing rain threaten nearly 180 million people, more than half the U.S. population, in a path stretching from the southern Rocky Mountains to New England. After sweeping through the south, the storm moved into the northeast Sunday and was expected to dump about 1 to 2 feet of snow from Washington, D.C. through New York and Boston. More than 11,400 flights were canceled Sunday, according to flight tracking site FlightAware. Aviation analyst firm Cirium said that as of Sunday morning, the storm is the highest experienced cancellation event since the pandemic. By Sunday afternoon, the majority of flights were canceled at busy airports in the Northeast and elsewhere. LaGuardia Airport in New York closed Sunday afternoon. The agency, according to the Federal Aviation Administration, the busy Queens Airport grounded flights until 8 p.m. In Philadelphia, 94% of flights, 326 flights in total, were canceled. 91% of the flights were canceled at LaGuardia Airport, and JFK Airport had 466 flights canceled, about 80% of flights. In sports, the 23rd Star Performance Track and Field Classic, sponsored by Baker Construction Graco Limited, showcasing a number of top performances over the weekend at the original Thomas A. Robinson Track and Field Stadium. Despite the windy conditions, the one-day meet considered a success. Several athletes shattering meet records while qualifying for both the 2026 Carifta Games and the 2026 World Athletics Under-20 Championships. You can read all about that in today's Guardian Sports section. Speaking of track and field, Bahamian track and field legend Shawnee Miller-Weibo is back, and she's back in a big way, running the third fastest time in her career in the women's 300 meters. In Gainesville, Florida over the weekend, the Bahamian former world and Olympic champion making a huge impression Friday, winning the women's 300 meters in a facility record of 36.07 seconds in what was her first indoor competition in 4 years. The blazing time is currently the second fastest worldwide in 2026, just behind the world-leading time of 35.94, run by Dejania Oakley of Jamaica 2 weekends ago. Miller-Weibo has had a couple of down years by her standards due to childbirth and injuries, but appears to be close to top form. More on that in today's Guardian Sports section as well. And we know who's going to be in the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 60 is set, and it's a rematch. The New England Patriots will face the Seattle Seahawks. The Patriots will seek their NFL record 7th Super Bowl victory when they face the Seahawks on February 8th in the San Francisco area, in Santa Clara to be exact, led by Drake May, Coach Mike Vrabel, and a stifling defense. Patriots are back in the Super Bowl for the first time since Tom Brady and Bill Belichick won their 6th ring together 7 years ago. The Patriots, which were 17-3 on the season, beat the Denver Broncos 10-7 in the AFC Championship game to advance to their 12th Super Bowl. And Sam Darnold, who had been cast aside by the New York Jets, who had drafted him number 3 overall in 2018, and the Minnesota Vikings didn't bring him back after he led them to a 14-3 season, is heading to the Super Bowl with the Seahawks. Darnold threw for 3 touchdowns. And the Seahawks' dark side defense came up with a critical 4th down stop, and Seattle advanced to the Super Bowl, beating the Los Angeles Rams 31-27 in an electrifying NFC Championship game last night. The Seahawks, 16-3 for the season, reached their 4th Super Bowl in franchise history and first in 11 years. The last time they were in it, they lost to New England. Darnold, though, who was blown out in his playoff debut last year in the Vikings by the Rams, no less, played through an oblique injury and completed 25 of 36 passes for 346 yards with no turnovers. The Seahawks needed Darnold to keep pace with Matthew Stafford, who drove the Rams into position to take the lead with 4:59 remaining, but it wasn't meant to be. So, Pats versus the Seahawks, February 8th. That's sports. And that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Your first look at weather brought to you by Star General. So we've got a near gale warning in effect, or that's going to come into effect for the northern and northwest and central Bahamas by later today around 6 p.m. and will continue through noon on Wednesday. Occasional gusts to gale force are possible across these areas. Boaters, especially small craft, urged to return to and remain in port until further notice. It's going to be an interesting week, folks. We've got high pressure drifting northeastwards across the Bahamas. This is ahead of a cold front that's going to move in, scheduled to enter the northern Bahamas by this evening. Widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms are ahead and along the frontal boundary, while fresh to strong winds and rough seas are expected behind the front. Across the rest of the country, a few quick passing showers expected. So for today, there is a high to strong risk of rip currents on the open and Atlantic waters. Beachgoers are advised to stay out of the water. Plus, we are looking at overtopping waves. Motorists and pedestrians are advised to exercise extreme caution while along coastal roads and along seawalls and areas like the Glass Window Bridge in Eleuthera, as waves can cause coastal flood, erosion, debris can be deposited into the roadway and can pull pedestrians into the sea. So keep that in mind. So for today, your forecast: partly sunny during the day, becoming cloudy to overcast by late afternoon, especially for the extreme northern islands like Grand Bahama and Abaco. A 30 to 50% chance of widely scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms. For the rest of the northwest Bahamas, including New Providence, again, partly sunny at first, cloudy by tonight. A 10% chance of showers during the day, but increasing to 20 to 40% chance by late afternoon. For the central islands, partly to mostly sunny today, turning fair tonight. Pretty much the same for the southeast Bahamas, a 10 to 20% chance of isolated showers. For boaters' winds, we're looking at southwest to west at 10 to 15 knots ahead of the front, becoming northwest to north at 15 to 25 knots after the front passes. That's for the northern half of the country. For the central and southeast Bahamas, central islands, southeast at 10 to 15 knots, falling light and variable at times, and easterly at 10 to 15 knots for the southeastern islands. High temperatures today ahead of that front. It's going to be a warm one. Highs around 85 Fahrenheit, 29-30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight in the low 70s, low to mid 70s, about 23 to 24 Celsius, but changes are coming. We'll tell you about that and the outlook for the rest of the week in the next weather check. This weather check, though, brought to you by Star General, insurance made simple.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of the start.
You are listening to Morning Blend. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on your home for fresh news and smart talk all day. Guardian Radio 96.9.
It's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Looking to elevate your gadget game, or are tech troubles simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows, or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Cades Village, or call 396-1100.
Public transportation drivers, start your day the smart way. Roka's gas station. Get a whopping 12 cents per gallon off diesel. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's unheard of, but it's true. Roka's loyalty card saves you money, and it's free. Get yours now on the spot. Wide entrance, multiple pumps, no congestion. In and out fast. The Malawala Highway and Faith Avenue.
Roka, you try to rest, roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and binders, magazines and flyers, for window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it, just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
City of Miami Gardens presents JITG Music Fest. Janae Aiko, Ludacris, Ashanti, Nelly, Glorilla, LMA, Maya, Joe, D-Nice and Friends, featuring SWV, Daniel Jones, Case, Sunshine Anderson, and Kenny Burns, Isley Brothers, El DeBarge, Stephanie Mills, and so many more. March 7th and 8th, Hard Rock Stadium. Tickets and info at jazzinthegardens.com. Jazzinthegardens.com.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969, at BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Deandra Cartwright. Deandra Cartwright, good morning.
Good morning, Dwight Strachan. How you doing?
Doing well. Hope you had a great weekend.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
All right, wonderful stuff. Wonderful
Short,
stuff.
but you know.
Yeah, it seemed to fly by, right?
Very much so.
Can you believe that was that was the last Sunday in January?
Yeah.
Isn't that unbelievable?
You know, January has just gone so quickly. I feel
it's
like
very unusual, right? Doesn't it just stick around for like 3 months?
I feel like, they say January is the Monday of the year.
But it went by quickly, unless we're living a
I
great
think
life.
there's so much things that have happened, like monumental shifts in this 1 month that it seems like it's been so long.
Locally and abroad, right?
Listen.
Yeah,
and some of those things in the past would have taken months, even years, even decades. And we're seeing it happen in days.
In 1 month. Yeah. Wow. So February's almost here. Super Bowl is set.
Oh, yes.
Yes. New England versus Seattle.
I heard that. That's going to be...
You heard that? You didn't watch it?
No. Unfortunately, I had some other things I had to do, but I intend to watch the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. The plans that I had for Super Bowl, though, have fallen through, so I need ideas.
Well, you've got a lot of time, and there'll be lots of stuff happening all over the country, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So you'll find something. I'm sure there'll be plenty of options.
I'm sure I will.
Yeah. All right, so looking forward to that. All right. Coming up today, though, we are going to be talking with RF about their Bahamas Economic Outlook, the conference. It's coming up in just a few days. We'll get some details about that and what you need to know and how AI figures into all of it. You won't want to miss that, I'm telling you. And then later, we're going to be talking about your mental health and issues that you need to be concerned about. That's all ahead on this Monday. But right now, let's get into what else is in the news. In the news, this text comes in here. We haven't even really started talking about anything, but here we go. I want to read this, though. I'm loving how the immigration situation in the states is, how the states are handling their immigration situation. All I want to know is what's happening with our immigration. Yeah, well, all the people who are here legally and illegally are working for people who don't want them to go. So talk to the employers who are keeping them gainfully employed, often to the detriment of the country, but especially if they're here illegally. But they aren't here doing things that
So somebody
they're
knows
working.
about it.
They're working.
Mm-hmm.
They're working. What's that about? Right? What is that about? And I'm sure if they're here legally, we know the work permit business is big business. Lots of money for the government. So plenty of people benefiting from the legal and legal immigration in the country. So that's what you need to understand. That's what's
Dwight,
happening.
It's misplaced judgment, honestly. It's hypocrisy, right? Because in most cases, and this is notwithstanding that you have persons who are here without the necessary permits and things like that, notwithstanding that. If you have a permit, you are connected to somebody, right? But we would like to place judgment on those coming seeking jobs as opposed to the persons trying to offer those jobs. And I find that very hypocritical.
That's what we do best, though.
I know. It's the same thing with the shantytown situations, right? The land is owned by somebody, right? And in most cases, and I want to say all cases, but again, we don't have the necessary data to be able to qualify these statements, right? So I have to speak anecdotally. The land is usually owned by somebody who's collecting funds. Mm-hmm. Like, let's be real.
Or leased.
Mm-hmm.
They leased it supposedly for farmland. This is the usual story.
Right.
Right? But they put houses up on it or allowed things to be developed on the property.
And money is
and
exchanged.
are now collecting rent. Yeah.
But yet we're not talking about that as much.
We are, but it's drowned out by the fact that who's living there.
No, I find it is. But on a smaller scale, I find like the situation that happened that was in Spanish Wells was at Russell Island.
Right, yeah.
Like that's the most we've ever talked about somebody, at least in recent times. In recent times. About who owns these properties, how does it work?
Well, you notice that people were playing brand new because we knew.
But I saw a person saying
well,
that, like saying that they were like, "Oh,
they
this
must have
happens."
been
Like it's somebody who owns the land. I'm like, people.
Born in 2010, perhaps, maybe. I don't know who they are.
I was
but we
shocked.
knew that Abaco, the mud, and the pigeon peas
historically,
that was
that's what
owned
happened.
by people
like,
in that area. Maybe not the mud, but pigeon peas was private land.
Right. I was looking at the comments like online on the different news stories when that came out, and I was like, so we didn't know how this operated. Like almost every time.
That child didn't know. Yes,
because these were adults.
They're playing stupid.
Some of them are older than me.
But they're maybe not just playing, but right. Because they know fully well that people have been telling you that they're paying rent to this man. They don't know the man's name, or they're paying rent to this person, and we're afraid to say the name. People have been telling you that forever. These are people, again, who own the land or were leasing it. And it was easier to shut down the ones that were leasing the property. It's a little more challenging when it's private property. But this is the situation we're in. As people have said, there are squatters. There are, but this is often not the case in these situations.
Very much so. And we don't hold the persons who are leasing the land, who own and let this thing happen. We don't hold them accountable. I feel, as a people, we prefer just to go after the persons who are othering. I just... Can we do better in 2026? It's still January. We have time. We could be better. No? Yes?
It's good to be optimistic in January.
Yeah, I will retain my optimism, Dwight. Nobody can bring me down.
Well, we'll talk again in April. All right, so this is where we want to go today because we've got already started on the text line. And I've been promising to play this. We didn't get to it when it came up, but hopefully today we'll get to it now that you mentioned it, Luthra. But this texture says here, see, this is the type of thing that's going to cause me to... I got to breathe. I'm surprised that the first thing you ain't talking and crying about is another one of your friends being killed by ICE agents in Minnesota. Who are you talking to?
I'm sorry.
Please tell your friends in Minnesota let ICE do their job and stop impeding them.
I didn't realize you had friends.
I don't know who they're talking about, but so you think this is a joke? This is funny? First of all, this has nothing to do with us, but also it's been getting lots of coverage on its own. These are people protesting, and you want the right to protest your issues, I'm sure, and to be killed by. I don't know.
Is this another thing we don't talk about? We have persons in this country who follow. I'm not saying international news, because it's a great thing if you follow international news, which means multiple countries around the globe, right? Who follow American news more so than Bahamian news. There are persons who could tell you more about Republican ideologies or even Democratic ideologies in the American context as opposed to what goes on in our own country, and they're proud of this. There are some groups that I'm a part of, they discuss this on the daily. And I'm like, but are you this invested in Bahamian politics and Bahamian governance?
No.
And you're not. And I just find it, again, to go back. I feel like today's motto is going to be identifying hypocrisy, because that's another example of hypocrisy. How you watching these things so closely, but you're not looking at what is happening right now. We're in full-fledged election mode right now. And are we looking at the policies, the practices, the promised policies and practices that should be coming through or whatnot? But we need to be a little bit more objective, but also subjective for our own good.
Well, if your party's not in, you're looking at, yes, you are. But if your party's in, you totally don't. What? Did we say that? When? All right, so we said we were going to get to this when this happened initially. We just have had so many things to talk about, but let's do it since we're here. And there was some movement in the courts last week as a result of this. We'll get you the latest on that in a bit. But take a listen to this report. This is from Eleuthera, Russell Island, Spanish Wells, a couple of weeks ago. Take a listen.
Chairman of the Unregulated Communities Action Task Force, Superintendent Stephen Carey, is responding to recent videos circulating on social media showing irate shantytown owners in Spanish Wells confronting task force members. Carey says the owners became upset following the demolition of illegal structures, noting that the task force had previously issued clear instructions and warnings for the structures to be removed.
She's upset with regards to the demolition that has taken place at this location at the time. But the reason for her being so upset is this here is a source of income. On numerous occasions, we have already instructed them to self-demolition, which they choose not to do. We did not arrest her. She's not in custody. This is a sensitive matter. We still have a lot of other things going on right here in this village. Therefore, we choose to give her a stern warning.
Meanwhile, Minister of Works Clay Sweeting said in a statement the behavior of the shantytown owners in Spanish Wells was repugnant. The minister commended officers of the Royal Bahamas Police Force and the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, along with staff from the Ministry of Works, for their professionalism and restraint in handling the situation. Carey says this is the first time the task force has experienced an incident of this nature since beginning its operations.
All of the demolition taking place in Abaco and New Providence, Eleuthera has been peaceful. This is the first community that we've been in, that we've had an incident like this.
The task force began demolishing illegal structures in several communities across Eleuthera earlier this month as part of ongoing national efforts to eliminate shantytowns. Carey emphasized that law enforcement officers are always present during these operations to maintain order and ensure the safety of all involved.
The Ministry of Works Building Control Officer has all power to demolish all building, any building in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas that is not up to code. Therefore, we are here just as a peacekeeper, and that is what we try to do. We try to de-escalate any situation that there is And we will continue to do that to the best of our ability.
Okay, our Vonnie Toop with that report there. So since that happened, this was in the papers last week. This was in the Tribune on Friday. So this article says that 2 Luther property owners were formally charged yesterday, so it would have been Thursday, over a confrontation that erupted during a government demolition exercise in Spanish Wells earlier this month. An incident that was purportedly captured on video. Not purportedly, we all saw that. We all saw it. It was purportedly. Okay. On video widely circulated on social media. Siblings Blake and Dominique Pinder appeared before acting magistrate Gwendolyn Petram and pleaded not guilty to charges of disorderly behavior, obscene language, and abusive language as well. Blake Pinder also faces an additional charge of obstruction. The charges arise from a clash between the siblings and members of the Unregulated Community Action Task Force during the demolition of condemned structures in a shantytown area on Spanish Wells. Prosecutors allege the defendants shouted racial slurs and obstructed officials as the operation was being carried out, allegations both denied in court. As a condition of their release, the defendants were ordered not to post anything about the matter on social media. Oh, wow. The case was adjourned to February 4th. The confrontation followed a demolition exercise that drew national attention after video circulated online showing heated exchanges between the siblings and task force officers. The operation formed part of a broader government initiative to remove unregulated structures deemed unsafe or unlawful. Prior to the charges being laid, Blake Pinder had publicly accused government officials of illegally demolishing property owned by his family, arguing that authorities failed to properly engage him despite efforts to regularize the development. He maintained that the land owned by his late father for decades had been used to provide housing and had existing utility connections, and he disputed its classification as a shantytown. He also previously claimed that he had sought assurances from local officials ahead of the demolition and raised concerns about how the exercise was conducted. Wow. Okay. All right. So let's get your reaction to that. So this is what we've been dealing, maybe not in Nassau so much, but with the situations we have here, but on some of the islands, we know this is often private property and started off in similar ways. Some were told people did have housing for the people working their farms, and it just escalated from there. But this is how often shantytowns have gotten running in this country. Let's get your reaction to it. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. As Deandra said, on social media, under any posts about this story when this first happened, people were playing brand new or claimed like they didn't know this is how it happened. In many instances, not all, but in many. And that's surprising, but this is the problem, right? When you don't know your history, you allow things like this to continue to happen because, like, wait, what? That's how it is?
But it works for certain people, Dwight. That's why certain things in this country don't change, because we have short-term memory. We have a very short-term memory. So when that for certain things, and then when that is compounded with not knowing your history, not knowing how these things were, that's a very dangerous mix, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to the phone lines and we'll get back to your text messages. Good morning, caller. You're live on the air.
Hello, good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Professor.
Deandra,
sorry. Yeah, first and foremost, just for you to put up a wall, you got to get a permit. And so you just cannot just go ahead and build like you like and please.
Well, you and me and Deandra can't. So, you, me, and Deandra can't, but certainly other people seem to be immune or have a special exemption for that. But most of us, you're right, most of us can't.
Yeah, so, I mean, my thing is what's good for the goose, good for the gander. That's got the rules and the law, so...
I don't know if that is the rule in the Bahamas. That's not the rule in the Bahamas, no.
I understand. I'm just saying that the person saying he building houses for the people, I don't understand, and that's to me that's just encouraging the situation and to go to harm.
Yeah, absolutely.
He can't go run to America and go in the bush and build what we want built like that, and let's gotta look at the logic.
Okay. Well, again, I don't think that's happened here. These people is a little bit different, but I'm sure it has happened, but that's not the usual here. But we hear you. Appreciate the call. Thank you so much. This texter says, "Hey, what do you mean it's easier if they're leasing the land to demolish it?" That's what I'm saying. If you own your own land and you put up some ramshackle structure, Ministry of Works is coming to tear that down ASAP. What's the difference here? Again, I don't know if that's the case for everybody, but and if you talk to the right person and talk to the right person, some
right
people can turn
right.
You could apparently it seems based on what we've been seeing, some people will turn a blind eye. It seems so, but yeah, you and me would be in big problems. Absolutely. This person says here, so when it's convenient for you, the first thing you do on your show is, and they use a bad word about Trump policy. Yeah, texter, that's right. So if you have a problem with that, please, I'll recommend some stations for you. Okay? You want, that's right. Yes. So please go away. This person says here, what you left out is the hundreds of people of Haitian descent who are the ones engaging in employing their fellow comrades. To me, they are the biggest perpetrators of what you speak. We keep hearing about that. That's a serious problem. And if you suspect that is the case, I say use your money to speak. Do not engage in companies that are doing that, right? Perhaps if that's what you think is going on there. That's one way that we can possibly get a handle on it. That might work. I don't know what else you can think of. If you suspect they're here illegally. But you're saying if they're here, what? They're not here. They're the ones getting the work permits. And
Dwight, maybe persons don't know, or some persons may not know how that works. That process of getting a work permit works.
If they're not here illegally, what does it mean? Somebody who came from Haiti is here, got themselves sorted out, started a business, and only hires people from Haiti. And they're doing it with work permits. What should the course of action be? Remember now, the Department of Labor says that you have to prove that there's no Bahamian who can do this job. Is that happening? Is that the case? So you could be making lots of assumptions. Mm-hmm. It's possible. Mm-hmm. They could be doing exactly what you're saying. Right. But are we certain that they don't possess certain skills and are not here working legally? I know the numbers are so great, something seems off, right?
I feel like you're trying to make too much sense right now.
I'm just trying to say sometimes it's not always what you think. Mm-hmm. Yes, if you're making conch salad, there's got to be a Bahamian who could do this, right? You're working at this restaurant that serves Bahamian food, but you can't point to New Providence on a map. Something's weird
that
here.
Like a shrine.
But
that sounds specific.
Oh boy, if only. But there are a lot of things we need to know what's what. And I'm not sure if we all know, I don't even know if the Department of Labor knows, but there's a lot going on, and it is concerning, without a doubt. Caller, what say you? Good morning, you're on the air.
Hey, morning, brother.
Good morning.
Chris Davis, John Canoe II here.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, man. Hey there, man. Just listening on the show, good show, But, I about to call out the same thing I always been calling out. And it's amazing, the sambo mentality that a lot of us hold, even in the midst of us seeing these blatant acts of racism and the other things that would typically anger a Bahamian so much. I think that white supremacy is so strong in the Bahamas and so infected our brains that even though you have a person who's clearly racist and white, who is doing something that any other black Bahamian would be crucified for publicly, that people coming out and defending, and they trying to conflate it with issues going on with ICE and Donald Trump or all type of craziness, you know what I mean? I would always say that I just find it amazing that we have so much vitriol, so much aggression, and we're so willing to call each other out. And yet you could have somebody who is essentially operating as a tyrant. And I talking about the lady from social media and the other ones, And the last time I called in, just imagine if that was a young black Bahamian, male Bahamian, particularly around the age of 25.
Oh, my God.
And they was cussing at the police and stuff like that, man. I mean, I've seen...
That would not have ended well.
No, that would have
not at all. And I know that y'all, and I always appreciate y'all attempts at professionalism and journalism, but people like me, and I know y'all love y'all disclaimer, I can call out the racism, and we have to do better as a people. We need to stop lotioning Donald Trump and drinking his bath water. I don't know what type of spell some of these people under. And it's amazing. I don't know if they're just trolling and think they're being funny. But this is not a funny issue. We are the nearest country to the United States that is not landlocked with them. You understand? And so when we make light of all of these things and the way that ICE is essentially murdering their citizens, and of course, it's not only white Americans being killed, but the white Americans get all the publicity. Just like when that serial killer from Aruba, you have Natalie Holloway, but nobody talks about Stephanie Flores from Peru. So all of these things are systematic white supremacy that has deeply infected our minds, our hearts, and our about slavery. At the end of the day, I pity these fools, not to drop a pun from Mr. T, but I really pity these fools who have seemed to have so much love for people like Donald Trump and so much hatred for themselves, whether they realize it or not. But I can hang up on that, brother. Great job. I don't know if that's DeQuesta or...
Deandra.
Yes. Deandra, sorry. How you doing, Ms. Cartwright?
I'm good. How you doing?
Okay.
Fine, thank you.
Chris, thanks a lot.
Hang up and listen.
And we'll see you on Friday. On Friday with our series of Clifton Heritage.
Nice.
Okay. A lot said there. We didn't want this to become a Trump type conversation thing, but
nobody said what needed to be said just then.
Yeah. Well. That's only going to inflame those other folks. Another call before we get back to some messages, and we need to talk about some other things in the news today. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Deandra.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, Dwight. I have a concern with these, and immigration need to look into this, because it's impossible for Jamaicans to be working here in the Bahamas as barbers. And what they're doing, they're trying to create a whole lot of mess in this country.
Sorry, where did you
say they are?
I didn't hear you say.
You said the Jamaicans are working where?
Barbershop, as barbers.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Price gouging and creating a whole lot of problems. I went there to get a shave. Why should I pay $20 for a shave or $15 for a shave, a basic shave? And it creates a whole lot of nonsense, and immigration needs to step in to find out how these people get in these barbershops, infiltrate these barbershops. I don't know, at first I asked him if he's talking about Jamaican dollars. He couldn't be talking about Bahamian dollars. But
I think on average, how much is a shave, sir?
$5, $6.
I mean, this is like your beard, that area you're talking about, not your head.
It ain't no head shave. If I don't shave my head,
yeah, that's a lot.
Just a bit.
That is a lot.
Basic replacement, so there ain't nothing but $15, $20, $30. They come in with this nonsense. That just don't make no
sense.
sense.
And they say that's a high class shave, though.
As a matter of fact, I don't think they should be in this country cutting here to start it.
Yeah. Okay. Again, this is right. You're supposed to prove that that there's no one else, nobody who is capable or willing to do it. That sounds highly improbable, right?
I mean, these basic jobs that Bahamians can do, that we have foreigners doing, is just ridiculous in this country. It's just ridiculous. And tell Chris, I'm not concerned. I'm not really that focused on what color the immigrant or illegal immigrant is. I'm concerned about our basic infrastructure.
So do we
have the facilities to accommodate all of these people that are in the country?
The store that you went to, if they were workers there, or do they own it? Do you know what the deal was? Is he there?
I didn't hear you, Dwight.
Yeah, are they the owners, or are they just working there? Or do you know what the situation is? They're workers. Wow. Okay. Interesting.
That shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. But I don't know. They might have some special arrangement. I don't know.
Yeah.
They might have some special arrangement with immigration or what have you. But the bottom line is, like, we have scores of Bahamians who are not doing nothing. I don't know whether they want to be engaged in working. I don't know. We don't have any data to suggest who wants to work, who is discouraged. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is there are too many people doing, foreigners that is, doing basic menial job. Cashing. You need to bring in a foreigner to cash, to check an invoice.
I hear you. Thank you very much. I don't know if you've reported it or said anything to the Department of Labor, but whenever we have these conversations, unfortunately, the business owners start calling or texting. They don't want to call. Texting to say, because the Bahamians are unreliable and we don't want to hire them. And they don't want to work. That always comes up. And we don't. And I guess you can always hold the immigration threat over somebody.
It's always about a power dynamic, I feel.
If you don't do this, if you don't show up on this holiday and accept regular pay, I'll call immigration for you. You do that to the Bahamian, I guess. Wow.
They can talk back.
Talk back.
They can call you.
Store won't be there when you come in the morning.
Oh, boy.
Wow. Okay. So text messages. This person says, I'm so glad they charged the folks of editing in Luthra. If that was a black person, he would have been locked up on site. Let's see what comes out of this. Just the other day, they tried to discredit the pastor for saying the law only applies for those who don't have any money or elite families. I mean, you're talking about the bishop, the Anglican bishop. I don't know if anyone tried to discredit it, but they certainly said that it's not quite like that. But we know better.
Okay.
We know better. My question is, why weren't they arrested on site for their disorderly behavior and racist remarks and foul language?
That was the question circulating. Why not at that time?
Mm-hmm.
Were the appropriate...
Do you have any answers? I
know.
Posit any answers?
I don't think I can even speculate, right? I mean, I would want to... I wonder if they had the appropriate persons with them, because the task force may not, but then that doesn't make sense.
If the task force didn't have people who could have arrested people?
But isn't not a superintendent? I'm assuming that's a police officer.
Well, in the report, the police officer spoke later about it.
Okay.
I don't know. But they were charged.
No,
they were charged.
Yeah, after, but also it's like for blaspheming and stuff, right? So, what are the... I think the concerns that people have is like, what were the time it took to charge them, but then also the types of charges that they got compared to what may have happened if it were another type of person. So again, I go back to that word that I feel like is a tagline today:
disorderly behavior, obscene language, and abusive language.
Yeah, I think they're talking about the larger charges about allowing people to be on the land and all that good
that's
stuff,
a
right?
different story.
But I feel like that type of thing, and I'm not a lawyer, that type of thing takes time to build up a case. So, but again, online, people who may not be aware of what the process entails are wondering why weren't those added to it. So again, I want to give some persons the benefit of the doubt that you may not know about the processes. So these are smaller charges that you can bring up with far more immediacy than something like the land situation. So.
Well, again, according to this article, Pinder said he's been talking to people before and trying to sort it out, right, to tell them what this was and what he had been doing, and he has disputed that it was a shanty town.
So this is the thing, that same article with Pinder saying what he did makes it seem like he had a choice for what the outcome would be if the orders were not followed. That's what it sounds like to me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what's supposed to happen. So I'm not sure if they were on the same page right there, because it's like if you were told demolish the buildings, you're supposed to demolish the buildings. I don't see... This is the law telling you. I don't see any way around that.
Or expect them to be demolished.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I don't get it.
Well,
But as you say, when people talk to different types of people and different understandings, I don't know.
Welcome to the home of what is good for the goose is not necessarily good for the gander.
I need the gander to talk up more, man. I am proud of the people for talking more about it online to try
Get your
and
goose cooked if you talk up too much.
Well, there's that too, and there's that, and I promise to behave, but.
Text messages, calls, we'll get to you in a second. This person says, I wanted to add a room onto my house, and the building inspector said my house has to be 15 feet from my property line. I wonder if that inspector goes in the inner city. Oh, well.
In a city, I wonder if we're looking at some of these housing developments properly, but anyway.
Have you ever been to a supermarket? About 90% of the staff is Haitian. I'm sure Bahamians are not skilled to work in the supermarket. Oh, boy. Okay. This text says, let's not conflate the Bahamas with the United States when it comes to race. Oh, really? Why should we not do that? You don't think we have the same issues?
Dwight, I want you to believe that there are some people in this country who don't believe that we don't have racial issues.
Okay.
I've literally sat at a dinner
and
table
inequality?
before.
They don't believe that?
No, it's literally, I sat at a dinner table once before, and I promise you, I was confounded. I was in shock. The person said they don't see color. I was like, what do you what do you mean?
It's beautiful.
Right?
Was the person five? Were they
no,
5?
No. And then they said that they don't see, they've never seen any example, they don't know of any example of racial inequalities. Mind you, I didn't start this conversation. I'm only listening in because I'm trying to eat my food. I'm hungry. Everybody knows I like food. So I'm like, come on now, right? And then they're saying these things, and I'm like,
what part of where was this? Which area was this conversation taking place? Was it Lifer Key? Was it Paradise Island?
It was no. It was in the West, but it wasn't inside those spaces.
Gated community?
No,
but in one of those.
No, it's out west. I won't say it's not in the what we call the upper cross section. So you would think that these persons they're just like you and I, right?
Nice.
I literally couldn't come to, and then I thought about it. If we live inside bubbles, right? And the only persons you interact with are people who think like you, then you literally can't see anything outside of that. Also, if you've been conditioned by your environment to not see or not believe or think that you are above it. Because I'm like, this is a person, this is a mixed person telling me this. I was like, you realize, you really don't understand this. But I also think about the fact that we have washed over our history during the time of segregation. We don't speak enough about that. Our people were not allowed to go, when we talk about over the hill itself, and the historians could talk better about this, right? But that literally was a separation of the people. You had to be gone from downtown at a certain hour.
That's a really interesting point, and we need to talk. We need to do a whole show on this.
We do.
I want us to. People alive today
they don't know.
I mean, there are people alive today who do remember this, and they don't talk about it.
No, because
they're trying to block it out. I don't know what it is, and maybe there was a lot of trauma, but they do not tell you that they used to have to enter through a different door to come to the same place, or that they weren't allowed to come there.
No, this is the thing. Listen, I petty bad, right? Because I remember when I transitioned to being an Anglican, and somebody said, "Oh no, you need to be at the Christ Church Cathedral. That's where all the people who look like you go." I was like, "Wow!" Wow. First of all, I'm a mixed person. Second of all, that's insulting. But third, and then they went into this whole thing when Christ Church was, you black persons could not go to worship. And I was like, that's why I go to St. Agnes primarily. But at the same time, we literally do not talk about our history enough. And I want us to do that show. I want us to do that.
I had a coworker who told me up until right after majority rule, there was still a bank here that the bank's no longer here that had a different door for
this is when people talk about service exits and entrances, that comes from a specific place. Now, in common day, in today's terms, it's for industrial purposes. But back in the day, that meant something different, right? But Dwight, you saw that picture that was going viral, I feel like a couple of months, I feel it was last year. I think it was the beginning of last year. And it was a photo of bank employees. And there was one black man in that photo. One. Mm-hmm. And he was standing not to the back of the group, to the back of the room. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this is our reality. That bank was, I think it's still down. And I'm like, Listen, we are the way we are because of things that have happened in the past.
What
if you
year
don't know
was
your
that?
past, you can't move forward.
What year was it? Do you know?
60s, 70s or so like that. Like, this is relatively recent.
Yeah.
This would have been when
Plenty
our parents
people
were
alive
children.
who remember this. And
I like to spend
yeah.
time with older people. They talk, I learn. I just wish that we could share that with so much more
Yeah.
people, but we got to open up our eyes, man.
We got to go to the news. We got a whole lot of your text messages. Callers, I see you. We're going to try to take them after we get back from the news.
Hold on,
we
please.
got.
We want to talk to you.
If you're on a cell phone, don't hold on. But we'll
Call
come
us
to you. We'll
back.
come to you in just a bit. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Trying to see Compton. The industry can hate me. Marlon, they mama. How many options you really got? I mean, it's too many options. I'm finna pass on this body. I'm John Stockton. Beat your hide the Bible if God watching. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show. Certified boogeyman, I'm the one that up to score with him. Walk him down whole time, I know he got some him. Pull on him, extort, bully the flow on him. Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. To any
Guardian
that talk
Radio
to him,
96.9 FM. Streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app. Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your television on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Float Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. And now at 8:19, it's time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. So we've got a near gale warning that's coming into effect by 6 o'clock this evening. That's for most of the country, the northern, northwest, and central Bahamas, and that's going to be in effect until noon on Wednesday. Occasional gusts to gale force are possible across these areas. Boaters, especially small craft, are urged to return to port and remain there until further notice. So it's all happening as a result of a high-pressure ridge drifting northeastwards across the Bahamas ahead of a cold front that's scheduled to move into the northern islands by this evening. Widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms are ahead and along the frontal boundary, while fresh to strong winds and rough seas are expected behind the front. Across the remainder of the country, a few quick passing showers expected. So moderate to strong winds with gusts to gale force beginning with the northern islands by tonight and spreading into the northwest and central Bahamas by Tuesday and Wednesday. That's what we're expecting over the next few days. The system will generate another round of cooler temperatures, though, through midweek before stalling just north of the southeast Bahamas. A reinforcing cold front will quickly follow by early Thursday morning, and that's going to merge with the first front, and then they will all leave the country by that evening. That's going to allow for temperatures to dip towards more comfortable conditions across the rest of the work week. Ahead of that, though, for today, look for a high to strong risk of rip currents at Atlantic waters. Beachgoers are advised to stay out of these areas. Plus, overtopping waves expected. Motorists and pedestrians advised along coastal roadways and especially in areas like the Glass Window Bridge in Eleuthera. So again, for today, your forecast for the northern half of the country, we're looking at partly sunny conditions during the first part of the day. But by late afternoon for the extreme northern islands, expect cloudy to overcast conditions. Look for it to get cloudy by tonight for the rest of the northwest Bahamas. So rain chances are already elevated for the northern islands, a 30 to 50% chance of widely scattered showers or thunderstorms. Rain chances are low for the rest of the country at about 10%, but will be increasing to about 20 to 40% by late afternoon for the northwest Bahamas. High temperatures ahead of that front, highs in the mid-80s, around 84, 85 Fahrenheit, even 86, so about 29, 30 Celsius. And lows getting down to the low 70s, about 23 Celsius tonight, but the changes are coming. So for Tuesday, tomorrow, partly cloudy to cloudy for the northern half of the country, with a 20 to 40% chance of showers near that front. For the central islands, mostly sunny at first, becoming increasingly cloudy as that front moves into the area by Tuesday afternoon, and cloudy by nightfall. Partly sunny to sunny during the day, turning mostly fair at night for the southeastern islands. And by Wednesday, again, cloudy to occasionally overcast for most of the country, except for the southeast Bahamas. They'll see a mix of sun and clouds. And still elevated rain chances for the central islands. By Thursday, mostly cloudy during the day, turning mostly fair at night for the extreme northern islands areas. And still mostly cloudy by Friday. And by mid to the end of the week, you will see high temperatures in the 70s and lows in the 60s. That's your morning blend weather check, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. If you're looking, your Sherwin-Williams store is the place to be with premium paints, pro tips, and everyday deals that make it easy to get started. .23 the time for a check of traffic, brought to you by RBC. With RBC, your ideas happen here. A reminder of the work on East Street South between Soldier Road and All Saints Way. That work continues nightly for the remainder of the week. Avoid the area if you can between 8 p.m. and 1 a.m. or follow the posted traffic signs. In your real-time traffic right now, we've got a number of hot spots for you. Real-time traffic, seeing slow-moving traffic about St. Vincent, straight up to Independence Drive. Heavy traffic for you near Carmichael. Both directions, actually. Carmichael backed up quite a bit as well. Eastbound to Blue Hill Road. And again, that's all the way up to Independence Drive. Independence Drive, slow-moving, heavy traffic, both directions right now between the roundabouts at Blue Hill and East Street. East Street also seeing slow-moving traffic, mainly northbound, between Sapodilla and the roundabout. Actually, it's going to go straight through to Robinson at this hour, and mainly northbound. Eastern New Providence, heavy traffic for you on Prince Charles Drive, especially near Fox Hill Road, and again, Beatrice Avenue straight through to Robinson and Marathon. East-West Highway, heavy traffic for you westbound. Eastern Road also seeing some slow-moving traffic from Fox Hill to about Johnson Road, Bernard Road, busy near the schools in that area. And then we've got Milo Butler Highway, heavy traffic for you from Fire Trail straight up to Tawny Quilmes Darling Highway. And at the 6-acre roundabout, John F. Kennedy Drive eastbound, seeing slow-moving traffic there. Saunders Beach on West Bay Street, slow-moving eastbound traffic to New Providence Highway. And some very slow-moving traffic on John F. Kennedy Drive this morning. In fact, heavier than, it's slow-moving along Lake Cunningham. If you're moving eastbound, and especially east of the roundabout with Gladstone Road, you're going to be seeing that heavy traffic near Theodore Lane, both directions, especially northeastbound to Harold Road and Prospect Ridge Road. So good luck to you this morning. You're going to need that. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert. Also brought to you by NUA Insurance agents and brokers. Whether you're on the road or planning your next move, they've got you covered. Visit NUAinsurance.com for an instant motor quote or stop by your nearest branch today.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice. It's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the Know How team at 396-1101.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, you're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
At CFAL, we understand that a secure future is the greatest gift you can give your employees. That's why our tailor-made group pension solutions are designed to fit the needs of both large and small companies. With CFAL, you can provide the retirement you and your employees deserve, ensuring peace of mind and financial stability for years to come. Join the many businesses that have already entrusted CFAL to create the right pension plan for their employees, and let us help you build a brighter future for your team. Visit us at cfal.com to get started on building wealth so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Don't shop at Sherwin-Williams then. Don't get the best service in the Bahamas then.
The love is really, really strong in Sherwin-Williams. We don't just sell paint. We service you with a smile, good hearts, mind, soul, and body. And we love our customers as much as we love ourselves.
Yes, real talk.
I'm not just saying this
Real talk.
to impress myself.
We love to go beyond with customer service. So they feel delighted to come in Sherwin-Williams because they know I can either see Dee Dee, or I can see Shelly, or one of our other wonderful staff members. We treat our customers with the respect of our boss because there are many paint companies they could choose to go to. No, baby. If they go to some other paint companies, so I gonna at the end of the week.
We want to make sure you get that little ting, Shelley. Come visit Shelley and Dee Dee at Sherwin-Williams Bahamas, and you'll surely find colour in every day.
Struggling to find your financial rhythm? Make that move to Fidelity and let us help you orchestrate your financial goals into perfect harmony with free financial coaching sessions. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Deandra Cartwright. Coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to be talking with RF Bank and Trust about their REO, the Bahamas Economic Outlook Conference that's coming up in February. We'll get the details about that this morning in just a bit. All right, so we want to get through these text messages really quickly before we move on. And so we've been all over the place. We've been talking about shanty towns. Some folks have tried to insert what's happening in Minneapolis in this conversation. We're trying to avoid that just because we've got a lot of issues to deal with here. But anyway, so that's what we've been talking about, and it's staring now into a work permit situation and who's working here illegally, that kind of thing. A lot happening. All right, so here's a text here. So this person says that they do not possess these elusive construction skills. Who's the they? I had the misfortune to live in the house from hell constructed by an all-Haitian crew. Oh, boy. Every single construction standard was missed. The doors, windows, floor, the roof, cesspit, everything was a violation. This Haitian immigration influx is not about skilled labor. It makes no sense to say we hired him because he works hard if he's building a house that falls apart in a stiff wind.
I have a question. Was the contractor also? Because
Oh, boy. Okay, I don't know if I want to read that text there. Well, this person says, yeah, hey, $6 was what a shave was going for. What is it? 6 years ago? What? 12 to 15 now. That's what they're saying.
Oh, that's what. Okay.
So Cleaver.
See, I'm learning.
The prices are up. The caller complained about the Jamaican barber. The caller is a part of the problem. Why is he supporting the business if he feels that way about these foreigners? Yikes. I don't think what people don't understand is a lot of Bahamians don't want to work. I think what a lot of people don't understand is that Bahamians don't want to work. You keep hearing this, though. But is it true? Yes, they want a job, but they never say they want to work. It's a difference. Also, they will not work for the pay being offered. So what is a business owner to do? You all always try to make it seem as if it's only Bahamians doing this. I'm saying that has changed. And yes, our Haitian brothers are so entrenched that they are the main perpetrators of hiring undocumented Haitians. That's what I'm saying. Most likely the barbershop owner is a Jamaican with Bahamian citizenship helping out his fellow comrades. Okay. But do they have work permits?
We're not getting the answers, Dwight.
We need to stop being buyers who can't even go in a Bahamian barbershop and get an average haircut for $10. As time changes, prices go up. Your caller would have a heart attack if he went to the U.S. to find out how much they charge for haircuts over there, which cost seems to be about $30. We need to stop making this immigration issue about foreigners because you go in the average barbershop, all the prices are the same, whether it's Bahamians or foreigners. Okay, interesting. Interesting point there. That caller, the previous caller, is a typical race hustler. They are hypocrites, guarantee you that he spends his money in white establishments and tries to get black people to work for him for nothing or, okay, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on. Abaco's out of control with immigrants, and if something isn't done soon, we will be outnumbered. The takeover has already begun.
The takeover. Oh, man.
Right, Tiefin is a skill. What now? Wow. You may recall, I'm sure I won't, that on Monday, December 22nd, I messaged you.
Hold on, what?
Okay. On this line? On this text line? No. I messaged you concerning the overflow of garbage on the streets of Meadows Drive and Joe Farrington Road. Please tell me
I think
it's
I
still
remember
not
that.
there. I do remember that now. I'm pleased to say that the garbage is collected at 2 p.m. that very same day. Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you very much for allowing me to use your radio station to get the message out to the relevant authorities who responded after I finally decided to use another route to get the message out. Well, hey, look at that. This is the power,
We do serve
the
a
power
purpose,
of
right?
radio. Power of radio. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It seems like Bahamian people have to go public to get a response from the government. This is sad. Well,
It is what it is.
yeah, I don't know if it's all. But I hear you. Stop moaning. Those things you talked about, that was 60 years ago in the 60s about the people who couldn't.
Oh, my gosh.
Segregation
We're doing
stuff.
this today? Okay, cool. Let's do it.
Wow. We have a migrant problem because we have a leader of our country who refuses to believe in Bahamians, even in, not. How do you all feel comfortable texting these things, though? Man. That's none of your business, caller, a texter. That's really rude and out of order. That's really, really ridiculous. Really
my
ridiculous.
gosh.
I mean, I don't know how you feel comfortable texting that.
That is.
Oh, boy. One of the largest supermarket chains in the Bahamas has 95% Haitians and non-Bahamians employed. How do you know that? You've counted. Go shopping on a Sunday and you start speaking Creole. You'll see.
Y'all are wild. I want y'all to know that.
Wow. Okay, what's the point of this text? No. Okay. Wow. The reality is, some of us definitely won't be around to see the mess that the Bahamas will be plunged into. The country is definitely a gold mine for many who are immigrants, and such people will always be in just about all nations of the world, but it should not be the detriment of the native inheritors of the island. Well, okay. Okay. For those folks, they're already dealt with by the people who came here. So you mean the ones who took it over. Right, sure. Our goodwill and charitable ways seem to be taken for granted in every possible way, and this must be dealt with forthwith. What does that mean? When you look at the pay scale of many countries, folks from those countries encourage their people to come to the Bahamas. But we're complaining, too. Bahamians must not let greed and all of the other unsavory things be our downfall. This is back to the person who had the house that collapsed. The contractor, the man who knows some men with two hands, because he was barely a contractor. Man. Yes, he was Haitian. Wow. Okay. And the only persons not working are Bahamians. Go to BTVI, learn the trade, and open your own shop. If not, buy a clipper and trim your own hair.
A lot of people are doing that, actually.
We'll take one call, and then we got to go to a break. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Thank you for taking my call.
Hi.
Yeah, I've been doing my hair for the past 40 years. Listen, the question is, why would a government seem to prefer or deny a certain class or group of persons, including their own citizens? Why? We have history. If you look at World War II, there were about 120,000 Japanese who were in America, and they were forcibly removed from their homes, as you can clearly see is happening today. They were incarcerated in camps, right? Now, they were not legally treated as immigrants, but rather as a racial group. You know, they just was considered a security threat, thanks to Franklin D. Roosevelt. I think you know what I mean. But now, while in the Bahamas today, we have undocumented and documented workers who seem to enjoy protection and opportunities that Bahamians feel are denied to them. This is history in reverse. The perception is that Bahamian employment and economic pressure, while immigrant labor is prioritized in certain industries. So you see, this is why I prefer a Siamese cat over a British short hair, Dwight, because Siamese are more intelligent. British, you take a long time to train them. So you see where we are. Government has chosen to do this to us, and we need to see it for what it is, okay?
Okay. Wow. We should just leave it there.
Break?
Desperately.
Okay.
This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio. When we come back, we are talking about the upcoming RF Bahamas Economic Outlook Conference. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned. This is Guardian Radio on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio. Can't even remember the name of the show. Stay with us.
I wish that I could love you. I wish that I could forever be true. I wish that I could always stay by your side. But I find I can't hold back this time. I've got to be free. 'Cause freedom is something you can't explain. What makes the sun shine? What causes the rain?
Southwest Plaza has so many stores, I've been trying to find a sensible way to list them all. There's CBS Bahamas, the Ashai Institute, BENC Snack World, Bamboo Shack Bahamas, there, the Athlete's Foot and BTC, Games and More, John Bull Fine Threads, Alive, Bahari, Dairy Queen, 700 Wines and Spirits, Sandy's Clocks and Island Lock, Starbucks and Lowe's Pharmacy, plus Marco's Pizza and Lorraine. Southwest Plaza, what a wide array of stores. Southwest Plaza. Stop by today and explore.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Looking for insurance that fits your lifestyle and your budget? At Star General Insurance, we've got you covered. Whether it's motor insurance with flexible options for third-party liability and comprehensive coverage, or commercial insurance products that protect your business, we have choices you can afford. Own a home or renting? Our home insurance products have just what you need. And for the adventure, for marine insurance too. Visit our website or social media pages for contact information and quotes. Star General, insurance made simple.
Wendy's has brand new chicken tenders, and they're everything you've been craving. Crispy, juicy, and seasoned just right. These tenders bring the flavor from the very first bite. Dip 'em, dunk 'em, love 'em. Scorching hot, ranch, honey barbecue, honey mustard, and Wendy's signature sauce. Grab them as a kid's meal, enjoy them on their own, or make it a combo that hits the spot every time. For tenders you're gonna know by name, it's gotta be Wendy's.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way.
Everybody's out there on the dock. They're doing what we call Bahama rock. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, yeah. Bahama rock. Early in the morning till late at night, everybody's happy, no one's uptight. Early in the morning till late at night, everybody's happy, no one's uptight. Rock from sun to sun, and then we give her a tremor song. Oh yeah, Bahama rock. Oh yeah, Bahama rock. Everybody's out there on the dock. They're doing what we call Bahama.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, along with Deandra Cartwright, and we're changing gears, talking about the REO or BEO sometimes, right?
BEO,
conference, BEO, Business Economic Outlook.
Bahamas
Economic Outlook Conference, and this annual event is always a high on folks' calendar, not to be missed, not to be missed. You heard his voice. David Slatter is in studio with us, but we also have with us Rich Carlgard, a journalist and former publisher of Forbes. So this is quite an honor. Thank you for being here this morning. Good morning to both of you.
Well, thank you, Dwight.
All right, so let's begin. David, with you. So, an overall, for those, I think people, how many years have been doing this now? It's
our 16th year.
Oh, my, okay.
Right, so, possibly 17th. I'm getting the exact number verified, but at least 16 years of the annual conference being held by RF. Mm-hmm. And we're excited. We've got a great lineup. You're going to hear shortly from Rich, who's one of the great speakers we've got included. And we're looking forward to 13th. At the Bahama Convention Center. And the theme this year is AI Tsunami, Navigating the Surge of Intelligent Innovation.
Wow.
So it's always on everybody's top of mind, whether it's through the media, how it impacts individuals, how it impacts economies, business opportunities, and the like. So we're really excited.
So let's talk about that theme. AI, as you say, people are talking about that. People seem to be in two camps. You're raving about AI and what the future will look like, or you're terrified that this is going to uproot everything and be the end of mankind. Which one is the reality? Is it a bit of both? What are we looking at? And Rich, you can jump in as well.
I was going to say, Rich, please feel free. You're one of the experts on the topic.
Well, I think it's appropriate to be both very, very excited and terrified. Terrified mainly if you don't understand what's really happening here. One of the reasons I'm excited to come to the Bahamas and talk about the AI revolution, I've been very fortunate in my Forbes career. Forbes is based in one of the financial capitals of the world, New York, but I've lived my career in the technology capital of the world, Silicon Valley. So I'm with you from Palo Alto.
Oh boy, it's very early there.
Yeah, it's pretty early. But you got to get up early in the morning to keep up with this AI revolution.
Oh goodness.
One of the things I've observed is that it's so important to know the underlying pace of any technology that is the dominant technology of its period. A venture capitalist that I interviewed early in my career, who's since passed away, but he created one of the dominant venture capital firms that still exists today called Sequoia Capital. His name was Don Valentine. And I asked Don, who was an early funder of Apple, of Google, of companies of that stature, what explains your success? And he said, well, it's really pretty simple. I just look into the future and I try to get into the right quadrant of where the future is going. That is, if you looked at the future and you said there are 4 general possibilities of where technology and business and demographics and all of those things are going to wind up, if you understand sort of the trajectories of demographic change, of technology change, of other vectors of change that will inform the future, and you get into the 25th percentile of how things are likely to turn out, then he said, I can be random if I'm in the right quadrant and I will do very well. Whereas if I'm in the other 3 quadrants that I've somehow missed, understanding where the future is headed, then I will have to, as he said, work like hell just to break even. So what I'm going to talk about when I'm in the Bahamas and also in the Grand Caymans for RF's other conference is how do we get into that right quadrant? Do you have to be an AI expert? You don't. That's the encouraging thing. What you have to understand is how fast this critter is moving. And that is actually fairly knowable based on how fast companies like NVIDIA are moving, how fast some of the big software companies are moving, and how fast people are applying this. I just want to give you one example, one small example, what I found out using ChatGPT, one of the generative AI programs that's available for free, or if you want to pay for it, you can pay for it and get a little higher level of service also. I was interested in Formula One racing. If you look back on the history of Formula One race cars, what was the period? Was there a 1 or 2 year period where there was a leap in performance more than would have been predicted? And the big leap was in the 1970s, and it was not due, as you might think, to engine technology. It was due to aerodynamics creating downforces. And these first appeared, this is what ChatGPT told me the whole story, how inverted wings first appeared in cars in the late 1960s, and they created a lot of downforce, but they were heavy. They also created a lot of drag. They also broke a lot and left debris all over the track. So it was in the 1970s when a British firm called Lotus designed downforce into the car, the undercarriage, the whole car. And lap times got significantly faster on the same amount of horsepower, less fuel usage. I mean, it was an amazing breakthrough, and we still see cars designed that way today. Now, the whole story was told to me by ChatGPT just based on one single question.
Wow.
Think about that. That's like Google times 100. I mean, to have that kind of level of knowledge and to have it accessible to anybody with a smartphone, I think, begins to hint at the kind of knowledge revolution that we're on the cusp of.
Yeah. Well, we right that people would have all this information at their fingertips and that we'd all be so much smarter than we are or were. Will we take advantage of it in the way that we should? Are we doing that? How will we ensure that we're not just using it for nonsense?
Well, there will be a lot of nonsense out there. I mean, the internet has produced a library of knowledge that's available for people who want to use it. It's also created a library of how to commit one crime or another. It's created a library of pornography, a lot of social ills. So I think AI is going to be that and more. It's going to create wonderful things, new drug discovery, new treatments for all kinds of diseases, treatments based on your own DNA and genetic history, not just what the sort of statistical average says about your disease, all of those good things.
Right.
And people will harness it poorly also. I think that's a given, and I think it's so important for schools and parents and mentors to really teach kids, how to avail themselves of this incredible power.
You talked about healthcare. We also have a speaker, Jamie Metzel, who's a leading technology and healthcare futurist. So I think that's one of the investment areas, one of the quadrants where you can expect to do rather well. Because if you think about AI doing testing on, say, a new medicine, something that took weeks, months, could take much shorter time frames. So we can get very useful new medications available to humans, let alone diagnostic efforts, right? So I always said, there's a diagnosis of you when you're 20, 25, 30, and each year this database is being built up, and AI is able to access it and look at it, and it can determine an issue way before it becomes an issue.
Right.
So I'm excited about the future from the healthcare quadrant, without a doubt.
Very exciting there.
Well, an interesting societal question is how what will our views of privacy be like going forward? Because medicine's a great example where we, at least in the United States, probably have too much privacy. And I say that because, you go to one specialist and you've got to fill out forms, and then you go to another one, you've got to fill out forms. And the reason you have to do that is because of privacy laws. But what if people made the trade-off where they say, I will give you everything, you can find out about my personal genetic history, DNA, propensity for this disease or not, lifestyle, all of that. But in turn, I get access to the database of all the other people who are sharing their data. So if I have not just cancer broadly, but a very, very narrowly defined cancer that only affects, let's say, 150 people throughout the world, but now we all know who we are, and we can pool our resources and our knowledge and figure out how, what's working. I think people will make that kind of trade-off. So I think, this AI revolution is going to usher in, I believe, some interesting societal changes too.
Yeah. Definitely going to be exciting. All right, so Rich, we're looking forward to your presentation, and David, tell us some more about some of the other speakers.
Yeah, so you've heard Rich give you just a little sample of what he's going to be talking about, so that right there should make you excited about the conference. But we've got we're going to start off with the Honorable Philip Davis, the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance. He's going to open the conference. And then we've got Michelle Weaver, who's the Executive Director at Morgan Stanley. So we've talked about some investment ideas and the regional and global impact of AI. Of course, Michelle will definitely give us more insight there. We've got Ian Khan, who's a global futurist and host of Amazon Prime's The Futurist. And then Jamie Metzel, as I mentioned, leading technology and healthcare futurist, and Rich Colgard, who's a former publisher with Forbes, but as you've heard, incredibly knowledgeable and insightful about AI, the goods and the bads. Right. And then we end with Jill Heinrich, who's a pioneer and underwater explorer and author. So one of these motivational conclusions to the conference where you see what it takes to deal with adversity and how you prosper after adversity. So a very exciting list of speakers. And of course, there's the Q&A sessions, which I really love because even though I'm part of the RF team, I definitely feed in some of my questions. So it gives you an opportunity as an individual to pick the brain of the speakers and get some direct insight to what concerns you.
That sounds like a great deal. All right, so who should attend the conference?
Whether you're in business, whether you're a regulator, but if you're just a citizen of the Bahamas or a resident of the Bahamas, and you really are interested in this topic, and you want to learn more, you want to network, so it's a great networking opportunity. So it's really for business leaders, people in government, and just individuals who have an interest in this topic and gaining insight from experts from around the world that otherwise would not be at your disposal.
Yeah.
So,
how much are tickets and where do you get them from?
Well, the tickets, you can go on our website, www.rfbeo.com. That's www.rfbeo.com. We expect over 400 attendees, so early registration is encouraged. And the price point is, I stand to be correct, I think it's $450 per person. Mm-hmm. All right.
Oh, and again, it's February 13th. Where's it going to be?
February 13th, Bahama Art Convention Center. Registration, you want to be there around 8 to 8:30 for registration. And then we will get started promptly, I think, at 9 o'clock. So, given traffic, get there early.
Yeah, definitely.
There'll definitely be some coffee and some eats, so you can have your breakfast, your coffee, and mingle while you wait for the start of the event.
And there's going to be a full day, and we've got some heavy-hitting speakers there. So the full day,
full day event. Mm-hmm. So there's a plan to dedicate the day to it. And as you've heard from Rich's comments this morning, very well spent. And this is the 16th year doing it, and that's a testament to how successful it's been.
Okay. This is great stuff. Again, the RF Economic Outlook. David Slatter, thank you so much. Richard Carlgard, thank you. Thank you for talking with us, and look forward to hearing more from you at the conference on February 13th.
Thank you, Dwight.
Thank you, Dwight. Thank you, Bahamas.
Thanks a lot. We're going to go to news. We'll be back with more in business. Stay with us. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
How they dance and sing like a superstar. We're gonna give it to our man on the guitar. Oh yeah, oh yeah, everybody's out there on the dock, doing what we call Bahama Rock.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Monday, January 26th, 2026. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Andrew Cartwright. And this morning we are talking with the Department of Public Health on the mental health issues. We're very pleased to have back with us from the Mental Health Programming Unit, Christina Johnson. Good to see you again. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right, so this morning we are going to be talking about mental health issues, specifically suicide. And we've seen in the past week a few attempts at the new year, and here we are. But let's talk about it all, what's accounting for this, and whether the way we even address it or talk about it might be creating some challenges as well. We were talking off air about a poll, and we can get deeper into the conversation.
Sure. Just a few days ago, I was scrolling Facebook, as one does, and I saw Eyewitness News had put up a post that was asking, what do the community at large think the reason for the increased depression, suicide attempts, and suicide? What do you think that is about? And the majority, I think it was almost 3/4 of people said financial pressures. And so I thought that was interesting because in my work, I find a lot of people think that suicide is synonymous with mental illness. But this poll shows that just pressure, pain, emotional instability, financial instability, that can be the reason for feeling suicidal as well.
All right. So now, those aren't the people who've attempted suicide, of course. So could folks on the outside not be seeing this the way that the reality, seeing it in the way they're thinking about it from their perspective, that my financial problems will be the reason why, as opposed to some of the many other reasons? Or what do we think is really at play here?
Well, the way I see it is, I feel that we pathologize a lot. We try to medicalize, we try to diagnose and be like, somebody who has a mental illness will be driven to suicide, but that's not the case. It's not about pathology, it's about pressure, it's about pain, and all of us can experience that. I think all of us have experienced that. We've been through COVID, we've been through Dorian, we've been through multiple other natural disasters, extreme weather events, and I think that we just really have to start to realize it's not about a diagnosis. It's really about circumstance. It's about what we are going through. And just like we've said almost every time we've come on Morning Blend, everybody has mental health, but not everybody has mental illness. And that's something that we really try to amplify.
Yeah. All right. So, as we said in the news this past week, just a number of attempted suicides, and it seems to be men and women. And it's not anybody in particular. Age groups were interesting as well, all over. What are we seeing from your department, the Mental Health Programming Unit? Any trends, any things changing with regards to this specifically?
I can't speak on any trends per se, but what I can say is that we are seeing an increased reporting of suicide attempts. And what that really is about is the fact that there are pressures, right? It's not that people are saying, okay, there is an increase in mental illness. There's just an increase in external pressures. That could be financial, that could be societal, that could be, there's a whole bunch of different things that are at play. That's why we talk about things that are psychosocial, right? So there's the psychological aspect, but then the social aspect of it. And so that interplay causes pressures that can become unbearable and lead somebody to feel like there's no way out, there's no end in sight. And that's where the despondence would come in. And individuals may feel, especially if they are unsupported, that there's no other option.
Yeah. I know the last time we had the Bahamas Psychological Association on, they were concerned that suicide is counted in the crime report that is at the end of the year. Statistics are part of crime. From your perspective, any concerns about that, or are we looking at suicide in the wrong ways here?
So something that I can say that we have been doing when it comes to the Mental Health Act 2022 that the ministry would have put forth, we are moving towards the decriminalization of suicide, which I think is very, we say that suicide is a crime, that is adding a layer of pressure and stigma to what really could be resolved by support, connection, understanding, rather than just being like, yeah, this is a crime and you need to be punished for this. When somebody is hurting, what people need most is not punishment. What people need most is that support, that compassion. And so that is something that we are definitely moving towards. That's a really a part of the bill that I really appreciate, to be very honest with you.
Absolutely. And just the fact that the police are reporting this, very, very, especially attempts, very, very odd to me. Why would you report that a 22-year-old woman has been diagnosed with cancer? I don't know why would you report on
Again,
attempted suicide?
It's sensationalism. What sells. I find, unfortunately, in our society, we tend to celebrate in the most macabre way the downfall of others. So we just want to have something to talk about. But my thing is, this is another reason, anecdotally, why people don't want to reach out, because they don't want to become the subject of discussion. They want that help, but not to platform or for their challenges really to become publicized. Exposed.
Yeah.
Exactly. So.
And to make matters worse, you mentioned Facebook. I mean, when these stories are put on Facebook by the news media, the comments, and there are people who feel the need to comment on everything. There are 20, 30 comments under a post about an attempted suicide. And of course, many of them are not helpful. You can imagine if that person sees this, what would that do to them? What could that do to them?
I mean, we can just think about it now. We can all relate to an experience when something that we've said to somebody, not even relating to mental illness, relating to suicide, relating to feelings, has just been exposed, something that you didn't want somebody to know.
Right.
I mean, that is definitely damaging. And so when it has to do with something that is even more serious, more personal, more private, you can imagine that could really, really make somebody feel awful.
So, Christina, you can join me, but I'm going to make an appeal. Dwight Strachan saying this, for the love of God, for the police force and my friends, my fellow colleagues in the media, please reconsider whether you need on an attempted suicide. For the love of God. Yeah?
Well, the fact that you are bringing this up 2 years in a row, so 2023 and 2024, my colleagues and I would have put forth a media sensitization for mental health workshop. So we did one, then we did a follow-up the next year. And so we have spoken with media professionals about responsible reporting. And so we had members from the Bahamas Psychological Association speak. We had a journalist whose specialization is media ethics speak. It was very powerful. So just you saying this, maybe we need to do one in 2026. When are we doing it again?
Run
it back?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great idea. Well, I even have issues about reporting suicide, right? Whether that should get the attention it does. On a slow news day, we've seen it before. Certain organizations will lead with that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, unless this person is a public figure, I don't know if that needs to be broadcast in that way, if that needs to be on the front page of a newspaper. And again, with suicide ideation, people who are facing challenges of their own, seeing stories like this, the day.
Well, I will say, I believe it was Dr. Jason from the Bahamas Psychological Association who was on with me one time, and he was talking about how it's a myth that talking about suicide will make somebody who is thinking about suicide act on that. That is a complete myth. Speaking about suicide actually makes it more embraceable, makes it more, it destigmatizes suicide. It makes the person feel like, okay, they're actually willing to talk about this with me. And so it makes them feel like, okay, maybe I can reach out for help.
Right.
And I think that's very important.
Yeah.
And I think just another point to what you were saying about responsible reporting and, do we even really need to acknowledge this in the press? I think that something that would be a big benefit is to end every post, every article with a reminder that hope is available, that help is available. Not just to, as DeAndre would have said, sensationalize a story, but to remind people hope is still a factor.
Provide contact information, hotlines.
Help is available.
Absolutely. All right, so the poll that you saw, people talking about financial pressures. It's January, which often is the longest month of the year. People are
90 days
really struggling, right? Let's talk about the person who is financially feeling strapped and what that can do, the pressures that can have on your mental health. What can you do? I mean, is there help out there for that?
So I know that social services is a resource, but what I would like to speak about on that topic is just that, yes, January is a very long month. I agree with y'all completely. But it comes down to finances are so important. We know that we need money to live. We need money to exist. We need money to keep moving forward. And so when the cost of living is high, when salaries don't match, when there's just so many XYZs that we can talk about when it comes to finances, those financial stressors are intense. And honestly, for a lot of people, it is a perpetual stressor. And that is not good for anybody's mental health. When any sort of stressor is perpetual or consistent, it's just that repeated, it compounds. And so it often feels like there is no way out, that this is just the cycle, this is just what it's going to be. And that can be really damaging to one's mental health.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking with Christina Johnson with the Mental Health Programming Unit. This is Morning Blend Business. You can text us your questions and concerns, 422-4796. We can even text 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259, or call us toll free 242-300-5720. Let's talk about some more about your unit and what you all do and the work that you do with the Mental Health Programming Unit.
Sure. So the Mental Health Programming Unit falls under the Department of Public Health with the Ministry of Health and Wellness. And what we do is we are concerned with programming, as our name says, so the development of resources and initiatives for the community at large when it comes to mental health. So my colleague and I, we do not do any service provision directly, but what we do is we do link individuals to resources in the community. Our big partner is the Bahamas Psychological Association, as you know, and we've been on the show multiple times as a tandem as well. And so they're our biggest partner, but we also are in partnership with other mental health stakeholders. So that would be Sandilands, that would be the Community Counseling and Assessment Center, and then also other entities, for example, Crisis Center and things like that.
Are you noticing changes in the perception and attitudes towards mental health in the country?
Absolutely. So there definitely was a shift. From Dorian, from COVID times, even in my work external to the ministry, I'd seen it. And I think that people are encouraged by the fact that, public health does have a mental health presence now. This is going on, the 2026 will be the third year, started in 2023, this unit. And so I think it's definitely very encouraging. There's a national conversation about it when it comes to the public health avenue of mental health.
Is it across the board? Is it younger people? Is it even older people? What are you seeing?
It's basically everybody. I feel like there's an accurate cross-section from different demographics. I feel like from young to old have been engaging with us, have been inquiring with us. And I think that's very encouraging. I think that's very promising. And it just makes the work that we do even that more rewarding.
Yeah. Now, I did see something a few months back, somebody talking about mental health days, and one business not responding positively to giving folks mental health days. Does the business community, this is our business hour, does the business community get it? Do they understand that, it's going to be in our best interest to allow our employees to have time for the mental health, not just the physical health.
So I think that's a very interesting conversation. I feel like when it comes to corporate worlds and resources, the individuals who work in HR, I know that psychology is an appropriate background for individuals who are HR professionals. And so that being said, it is interesting, isn't it?
And yet, right.
But I just think that, having that background and understanding benefit for not just your employees, but for the corporation itself, that's why we do things like employee assistance programs. I feel like feeding into the idea of mental health days, that should be something that can be looked at a little bit more seriously, because it definitely would help with boosting morale, increasing productivity, all of the things that we know other initiatives do. I think it would be a very interesting idea moving forward.
Are you seeing any movement with that, or is it?
I think it's very piece. I think some corporations do. I don't think it's something that has been mandated as yet, but I know there has been a conversation about it. I guess we'll find out what happens.
Wow. Again, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. All right, I'm not understanding this text. Okay, let's just ignore that.
Yes, let's not read the negative text messages.
It is negative, but it's all right, so let me just read it. Imagine employers, landlords, neighbors deciding who they don't want around based on your health conditions or mental health conditions.
What's the question?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. But they're talking about there needs to be a restriction on the type of private data that is made public. But
so are they fearing discrimination?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But we're seeing that. We're seeing that now.
Unfortunately, stigma exists. It really does. Yeah. And unfortunately, mental health stigma is completely different from other health stigma. You would not say, no, you can't live here if somebody had a cancer diagnosis. But if you found out somebody may have a mental illness, maybe a diagnosis of schizophrenia or something, somebody may be hesitant, unfortunately, to extend a job. And we see that globally, to be very honest. Mental health stigma is extremely pervasive and detrimental. Everybody deserves to be seen. Everybody deserves to be extended compassion and grace. And mental illness is manageable.
Yeah, absolutely.
It absolutely is. It's not a sentence.
Right. And again, this can tie right back into the financial issues, right? You're boxed into a corner because this is the only place where you could possibly live or work because of the attitudes of others that can just compound the challenges you've been having. So yeah, it's fortunate. Oh, okay. So they're saying that was in relation to our previous conversation.
Okay.
All right. So AI.
AI.
Well, yeah. Well, AI is going to be.
That's what they meant. But I mean, it is a valid concern when we're talking about mental health. But if you seek in certain services, what that could mean, I know the stigma still exists about if you were to seek therapy of some kind, something happens. Like, I don't know. Is that a real thing? Do you know? Of what? To say that if you seek therapy sessions, right? Your insurance companies were like, oh, maybe she's a risk. Does that actually happen? Because I feel like
sure.
Okay. Because I know some people ask that question.
Interesting.
Yeah,
well, does insurance even cover?
Some do, actually.
Yeah?
Some do.
Okay.
Some do. But some persons may not take advantage of it, because of the stigma. They're fearful.
Yeah.
That part.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, fearful because of what Deandra's saying about it. The insurance company might be seeing that I'm going to see a psychiatrist, or just because of it's a small town
and you know how hard it is to get an appointment with a psychiatrist in this town. You have to go through the therapist, psychologist, and they get the referral to the psychiatrist.
Wow. Got a lot of challenges. There. All right. So, what is next for the mental health programming unit? What are you all
outside of the
working
media
on?
training that y'all are going to have for 2026?
Yes, I think we are now encouraged to run that back. I think maybe that's something we can look into for
the first part of this year. We are going to be continuing our outreach to the Family Islands. Last year, we would have attempted to go to Long Island for the psychological first aid training. However, we were thwarted by Hurricane Melissa.
Oh, dear.
So we have to run that back. We will be returning next month in February. So that's something to look forward to, Long Island, if you are listening. And then we have just a few more island communities to go to. That would be Ragged Island, Rum Key, and then we are also planning to do some of the smaller keys as well, and also remaining in contact with the islands and communities we have already been to. That has been something that is extremely positive, just to be able to bring some support and just some extra training to Family Islanders. I think that's extremely important. We are an island nation, and so our resources must trickle down throughout the country. And so I'm very pleased about that, very proud to say that we have been able to accomplish that.
That's wonderful, wonderful. And again, how many people in your unit? It's a pretty small one, right?
2.
Oh, well, you definitely need more.
Yes,
Definitely
but we
need
also
more.
have our partners for the Bahamas Psychological Association. So teamwork makes the dream work.
Wonderful.
Oh, boy.
All right, so our final few minutes here, remind folks who are feeling the pressures, whether it's financial or social, that January burn there for all of that. What would you say to them, Christina Johnson?
You are not alone. At the end of the day, I feel that what is most personal, what we feel is most personal, is really universal, to be honest. It might not be the exact same situation, but we have all felt pressure before. Help is available. There are helplines. There are crisis resources. The Bahamas Psychological Association has 6 helplines. They even have 3 specific ones for different populations, a Creole-speaking one for men only, and also one for youth and adolescents. So the Bahamas Psychological Association has those free WhatsAppable helplines available. I would definitely just encourage people to reach out. People who work in this profession, we really take confidentiality very seriously. I have a master's degree in keeping secrets.
I like that. That's great.
And my colleagues do as well. And so on the end of those helplines are individuals who have advanced degrees. These are not just, volunteers who are in training. These are people who have the training already and are equipped to assist.
Yeah.
So I would say definitely take advantage of the resources available. And please do continue to follow on social media, Mental Health Programming Unit on Facebook. We also have a TikTok, and also just Ministry of Health and Wellness and Department of Public Health as well.
Yeah.
All of our resources are linked there as well.
And again, you're seeing these pressures, these issues on people across the board.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Wow. Christina Johnson, always great information. Thank you so much for being with us this morning, again, with the Mental Health Programming Unit under the Department of Public Health.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we're going to take a break and be back with our final few minutes of Morning Blend Business here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Anxiety don't try me. I feel it quietly, trying to silence me. Yeah, my anxiety can't shake it off of me. Somebody's watching me, and my anxiety. Yeah.
Planning for retirement can be overwhelming, but with CFAL, it doesn't have to be. We offer tailor-made individual, group, and pension solutions that take the guesswork out of retirement planning. Whether it's for you or your company, don't leave your future to chance and let the trusted hands of CFAL's experts guide you toward peace of mind and financial stability. Low upfront costs and affordable monthly payments make it easy for you to build wealth so you can live well. Visit us at cfal.com to start on your path toward financial freedom. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Step inside the John Baptiste Jazz Club at Bahamar, where the rhythm of the islands of the Bahamas meets the soul of New Orleans. Every night, the lights dim, the music swells, and the air fills with that unmistakable energy, the kind that makes you close your eyes and just feel. Savor signature cocktails, curated small plates, and live world-class musicians, all in an intimate, artfully designed space where every seat has a story. Whether it's a romantic night out or a spontaneous evening with friends, this is where you want to be. The John Baptiste Jazz Club, only at Baha Mar. Reserve your table now at bahamar.com/jazz club or through the Baha Mar app, because every evening plays its own tune.
Put more money back in your pocket with the Fidelity Debt Consolidation Loan. Why pay more when you can pay less? Reduce your monthly debt payments down to one low, easy payment. Apply for a Fidelity Debt Consolidation Loan today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
At CFAL, we understand that a secure future is the greatest gift you can give your employees. That's why our tailor-made group pension solutions are designed to fit the needs of both large and small companies. With CFAL, you can provide the retirement you and your employees deserve, ensuring peace of mind and financial stability for years to come. Join the many businesses that have already entrusted CFAL their employees, and let us help you build a brighter future for your team. Visit us at cfal.com to get started on building wealth so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
It is time for your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL. National Development Plan Secretariat Chairman Felix Stubbs telling Guardian Business that the legislation for the NDP will be in Parliament during the month of February. Stubbs says the legislation is currently out for public comment, expected to be completed before the end of the month. More than 13 flights into this country were canceled at Lynden Pindling International Airport as strong winter storms affected large portions of the United States. That's according to NAD's Vice President of Operations, Jonathan Hanna. The winter storms, which brought more than 12 inches of snow to the New York metro area yesterday, marooned visitors whose flights were scheduled to depart yesterday. Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Chester Cooper, telling Guardian Business that flights from Atlanta, Georgia, and Charlotte, North Carolina, into Exuma were also canceled due to the weather. That bad weather began on Saturday, though there was only one reported flight cancellation on that day. Even as the Save Exuma Alliance is calling on the Town Planning Committee for more time to dive into Integra's refiled site plan for the Rosewood Exuma Resort development, Integra responded in a statement Friday stating that it has every confidence that the Town Planning Committee will carry out its work in line with the law. The company also explained in a statement that it will not comment further on SEA's calls and calls for a public consultation meeting with the Black Point community to be pushed back from its February 5th date. The Save Exuma Alliance released a statement on Thursday asking the Town Planning Committee for more time to dive into that group's refiled site plan, contending that the new plan had highly technical and detailed material that needed to be studied before the planned February 5th public consultation meeting. Bahamas Real Estate Association President Carla Sweeting telling Guardian Business that if the government was serious about home ownership and providing more inventory for renters, it would take VAT off all mortgages. The Sweeting responding to comments made by Michael Halkitis, the Minister of Economic Affairs, that when he said that the government is looking into increasing the housing inventory. She said that the country lacks data and that she'd love to know where they're going to build the many houses that have been promised by the government. You can read more on that story in today's Guardian Business section. And Easy Car Sales estimates that Bahamians who have chosen an electric vehicle through the company over the past 10 years as opposed to a gas vehicle have saved some $5 million in fuel costs over that time. Easy Car Sales is celebrating 10 years in business this year and said that EV sales hit record growth last year. The European Union opening a formal investigation into Elon Musk's social media platform X, formerly Twitter, after his artificial intelligence chatbot Grok spewed non-consensual sexualized deep fake images on the platform. European regulators also widened a separate ongoing investigation into X's recommendation systems after the platform said it would switch to Grok's AI system to choose which posts users see. The scrutiny from Brussels coming after Grok sparked a global backlash by allowing users, through its AI image generation and editing capabilities, to undress people, putting females in transparent bikinis or revealing clothing. Researchers say some images appear to include children. Some governments banned the service or issued warnings. The 27-nation EU into whether X had done enough as required by the bloc's digital regulation to contain the risks of spreading illegal content such as manipulated sexually explicit images. That includes content that may amount to child sexual abuse material. According to the European Commission, these risks have now materialized, exposing the bloc's citizens to serious harm. Toyota announcing Friday it was recalling over 162,000 pickup trucks in the United States after it was discovered that the vehicle's multimedia displays could compromise driver safety. The recall affects the company's model year 2024 and 2025 Tundra and Tundra Hybrid line. Affected customers are being notified, according to a statement from Toyota. The Japanese automaker warns that the screens may become stuck on a camera view or go completely dark under certain conditions, creating situations where drivers are unable to see their backup camera feed when reversing. Toyota says the malfunction potentially violates federal safety standards. In your market watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Friday, your market movers. Colina Holdings moving 15,750 shares, up $1.75. Consolidated Water down 13 cents, closing at $7.40. Emira Incorporated down 2 cents, closing at $12.17. The BISX All-Share Index closing at 3,159.27, up 0.91. Recapping the week. The local market ended the week with 146,115 shares crossing the exchange, with 13 trades accumulating a value of $972,056. The BISX All-Share Index gained 10.27 points, or 0.325%, ending the week at 3,170.08. Year to date, the index is up 60.49 points, or 1.945%. The week's volume and value leader, Focall, moving 50,000 shares in one trade with a value of $342,500. That's your Market Watch, and that is your Morning Business Report, brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. And tune in tonight to CFAL Talks right here on Guardian Radio 96.9 at 6:30 p.m. We'll be back with more Morning Blend business after these messages here.
Planning for retirement can be overwhelming, but with CFAL, it doesn't have to be. We offer tailor-made individual, group, and pension solutions that take the guesswork out of retirement planning. Whether it's for you or your company, don't leave your future to chance and let the trusted hands of CFAL's experts guide you toward peace of mind and financial stability. Low upfront costs and affordable monthly payments make it easy for you to build wealth so you can live well. Visit us at cfal.com to start on your path toward financial freedom. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Step inside the John Baptiste Jazz Club at Bahamar, where the rhythm of the islands of the Bahamas meets the soul of New Orleans. Every night, the lights dim, the music swells, and the air fills with that unmistakable energy. The kind that makes you close your eyes and just feel. Savor signature cocktails, curated small plates, and live performances from world-class musicians, all in an intimate, artfully designed space where every seat has a story. Whether it's a romantic night out or a spontaneous evening with friends, there you want to be. The John Baptiste Jazz Club, only at Bahamar. Reserve your table now at bahamar.com/jazz club or through the Bahamar app, because every evening plays its own tune.
Put more money back in your pocket with the Fidelity Debt Consolidation Loan. Why pay more when you can pay less? Reduce your monthly debt payments down to one low, easy payment. Apply for a Fidelity Debt Consolidation Loan today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
We're back with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight, Strachan, D'Angelo Cartwright, our final few minutes here. All right, so we got a couple of stories in the news in the business section we want to get to, and we've got more NIB calendars to give away. We'll give away two
Got all
this
the
morning.
things.
Yeah. All right, so this story really struck out and stuck out to me. So BRIA, Bahamas Real Estate Association President, Carla Sweeting, a friend of the show, always on, calls in often. She might call today, I don't know. BRIA President Carla Sweeting telling Guardian Business recently that if the government was serious about home ownership and providing more inventory for renters, it would take VAT off all mortgages. Oh, my goodness.
Could you imagine the price of VAT on a mortgage? Recurring.
Yeah, I feel it every month. What do you mean? Sweeting, responding to comments made by Michael Alkitas, Minister for Economic Affairs at the Office of the Prime Minister press briefing on January 15th, when he said the government is looking into increasing the housing inventory. Sweeting said, quote, "Let's talk about the real issues. How many people can afford to pay $1,000 a month and pay that in rent? And they could be paying that towards a mortgage. But in order to get a mortgage for them to pay $1,000 a month, they need a certain amount of dollars for a deposit. Both husband and wife need life insurance for the value of the property. The fees attached to the mortgages are insane. You want to help the people? Well, take the VAT off all that. Do something. Talk to the central bank about how we can reduce these interest rates. Very interesting point. Sweeting went on to say, quote, our country lacks data. I would love to know where they're going to build these 1,000 houses. Who would qualify for these? And how would one go about qualifying? What's the criteria for someone qualifying for one of these homes?
Well, sorry, I'll let you finish.
Yeah. Bahamas Bahamian Contractors Association President Leonard Sands telling Guardian Business in December that 50% of residential construction projects stall due to insufficient funds from commercial banks. He also noted that banks are simply not approving enough construction capital for people to build adequate homes or finish them. Well, even when they do, the people decide to turn the places into Airbnbs and won't rent or, So that's another challenge. But anyway, Sweeting went on to say, quote, the other issue I have is will they use contractors that are licensed? Well, we don't have that here. That's another issue of the PCA. We don't have a licensing, even though that bill was passed almost, I think it's 10 years now, but yet it's not been implemented for contractors to become licensed in the country. And why is that? Multiple administrations now, and they've all been promising this, but it's still not a thing. So that's insane. But anyway, Sweeting says, will they be licensed? And are licensed contractors, we don't have any, not Bahamians, the ones who will get the contracts. Maybe they will, but they won't be from the Bahamas if they're licensed.
You're right.
And is that the reason why we're not doing it? So they can give these jobs to foreigners?
Look how you dive in deep.
Because, especially with international funding requiring a licensed contractor. And when there are no licensed contractors in the Bahamas, you know what that means. They've got to go outside the country and bring in the people who will want to bring in their own workers.
Listen how you catching this.
Well, this is what's been going on, and the government knows this. The previous administration knows it too. Yet here we are, complaining about things that the government is fully aware of and not doing anything about it. Anyway, who will get the contracts? How are they getting the contracts? Is it a proper bidding service? Well, she also said that the government should open up more crown land and make it available to developers to build more homes. Okay, so there's a lot of issues there. The cost of living, incredible, and things that would benefit the country are just not happening, even when laws have been passed. We still are stuck. We see that with FOIA, Freedom of Information, and the contractors bill. So what are we really doing here?
I find it curious that we're talking about this morning, because also inside today's newspaper, there is, I think, going to be a series of hearings for land development for, I think, if I recall what it says exactly, 147 homes in the Chippingham area by Propal Tract. I think there's a name for the estate.
Wow.
Again, this is fascinating to me.
Yeah. Let's hear from you folks. Let's get your reaction to all of this. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free. 242-300-5720. Or tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796 is here. What do you have to say about this? Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, morning, Dwight. You guess how you doing?
Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, Radio Chief. Yeah, I'd like to chime in on the topic, right? The problem is now basically is that the cost of living is extremely high in the Bahamas, and most banks now, you need actually a dual income to get a mortgage because they're looking at your salary rate. A lot of people don't qualify for it, which means that a lot of people now are going to have to actually get married just to move out of their mother house than for love. Or, second option, marry someone who works for government. That's the easiest way out of that, to get a house, which I think is ridiculous, to be quite honest with you. And the second problem we have in the Bahamas is, right, with the cost of living, the building materials are extremely high. So in order for it to be, there's no such thing nowadays as actually an affordable house, to be quite honest with you. A two-bedroom house now, you're looking at probably about $280,000 for a two-bedroom house now, if you want to construct it, because of the height thing now.
Yeah.
So a lot of people actually will not be able to afford a house, And that's the reality of the situation.
Okay.
And,
So here's some interesting things. All right. So, I mean, and, that's been the case for a long time, but those folks.
No, but it's actually getting worse.
It's getting
now.
worse. It is getting worse. But those folks in the past were able to rent, and for some people, it might be easier and better. If you have a good landlord, you could maybe rent and not owe anybody, don't owe the bank anything, and have a sense of life. But now, but here's the issue. Now, the rental costs are higher than mortgages in many regards. And so this is what Carlos Sweeting saying in this report here, that, right, you've got so many issues here. People can't afford rent, even if you were not in a place that you could be able to afford a mortgage. That used to be the fallback, but it isn't anymore. So we've priced everything out of the reach of many, many people. What are we doing?
Yeah, but Dwight, the Bahamian dream can't be to sit down and pray, oh Lord, please help me when I get out of school, get an apartment. That can't be the Bahamian dream. You have to have some form of ownership in life. You can imagine you living in some apartment for the rest of your life.
That's like prison. Well, I don't know. That's okay. We did a show on this a few years back. Thanks for the call. Let's do it again. We spoke to some folks who and advocate was this might be in the best interest of some people, not everybody, to rent for life. It might be. It might be. Right? It might be. I know plenty of people don't see themselves in that type of life or future, but plenty of people are doing it and are quite fine.
Is that by want or like necessity, though?
You got to ask them. But it's a lot of people who have done it and are doing it. But we'll do that show again. Is it so bad that is who and where you are? He reminded me of something. You remember in the previous administration, cabinet minister, he said that. He said, hey, even though I'm paraphrasing, broke up, you remember? But go get married so you can afford a house. Basically, that's what he said. Yeah. Don't mind that you can't stand each other. But if you want a house, go get married. Mm-hmm. Well, the cost is so high, they're going to be telling you to marry two people.
Are you advocating for polygamy? What?
I am not. I'm just saying one might not be enough to afford what's happening in our.
No.
Start a commune or something. I don't know what's happening.
Oh my goodness!
Oh boy, caller. Good morning. You're on the
Monday,
air.
Dwight.
Just saying.
Dwight, how you doing?
I'm well. Good morning.
And the both of you, Dwight. The problem we have is when we talk about housing, we keep looking and saying, how about this, and how about that? When you begin to look as a holistic whole issue of it, right, it becomes a balance. First, we have to increase volume. Yes, we do need some tax breaks. We need to redefine also even the breaks that the government just screamed out concerning duplexes and triplexes and have a tier purpose directed system. But the problem is that it's income. You could start and you could give all the tax breaks, right? When you look at the income and you take a simple formula, take the value of the house, do 1%, right? And that's your mortgage. Then when you look at, when you do the other calculations of what you have to pay times the salary, just for, I think, a $200,000 house, a $300,000 house, which is the average cost, you have to make $108,000 a year. Now, Dwight, believe it or not, your idea about polygamy might work.
No, don't. That's not what I said. It's not my idea about polygamy. That's someone's going to tune in right at that moment. What do you what?
Okay,
what are you saying?
Because what happens is that, but the thing is, Dwight, we also have needs. Let's use an example, right? We have a need for, at minimum, they say 15,000 bed and breakfast. We say, on our research, it's closer to 25 to 30,000. Grand Bahamas, another 25,000. Total of 40 to 60,000 homes. When you begin to look at combining these type of environment, then you begin to look at the income, and this is a science-based argument concerning how much the inflow of supplies have to come into the country, which then reduces costs. Then you have to look at how would the construction industry impact the growth of the economy. There is no, if you do this, you must bring a complete holistic approach. And let me end this, Dwight. Guess what? A promise has been made for a housing revolution, and a promise will be delivered.
Oh, boy. Okay. All right. All right. One final call, and then we got a giveaway to give away. Caller, you're on the air.
Yes, good day.
Hi, good morning.
All right. You know, affordable home has to be affordable to the masses, right, to the poor. That's affordable home. You know, what we need is social housing. Social housing is done by the government, subsidized by the government. Social housing, you know, that's what we need. You see, we have so you could like see Allen talk. What see Allen talk about? You know, that has nothing to do with affordable housing for the poor. You see, we need health care for the poor. We need education for the poor. You know, and the problem is, how is the government going to pay for these things?
So give me an idea. How much would the mortgage be for like what you're talking about, housing for the poor? What would they pay? Or is it just rent? What would that look like?
See, for one, social housing isn't housing ownership. It's housing subsidized for the poor. You say the poor will always be with us? You understand what I'm saying? That's not housing ownership. It's not about poor people owning houses. It's about poor people housing being subsidized. You see, and money has to come from somewhere. Where is it coming from? See, that's what we never discuss in this Bahamas. Where does the government get money from? We say, we got to go this one. I mean, it doesn't give the government money. Government has to tax it. And how is the government taxing it? What the economy is, the government has to tax it in a particular way to be able to subsidize living for the poor. Don't say that the poor will always be with us, right? And then you say, well, the poor is the poor is at fault because they're not educated or because they don't make enough money to pay their rent. So that's reality.
Okay, interesting.
You see, thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, let's read these messages. Then we got to give away these calendars. Okay, this person says here, oh boy, the banks told me that they don't give loans for houses or properties in the ghetto, like Baintown, Eggleston, Grantstown. The bank told you that specifically? Okay. Some family islanders cannot sell their property because the banks do not give loans to low-income areas. Oh, boy. Apartments are expensive, and the banks are not giving loans to low-income families who have properties in those areas. Okay. While the migrant crisis, with the migrant crisis, social housing will be a financial catastrophe. Migrants will benefit more than Bahamians who deserve it. Okay. Yeah, they're saying 52 is very confident. Yeah, well. When will we address the slum landlords that benefit in the inner city? Yeah, well, that one seems to come and go, right? At various points, it's a big priority, and at other points, not really. All right, let's give away these calendars really quickly. We're running out of time. This is just call in, and you've won a couple of calendars here. Who is the current director of the National Insurance Board? If you have the name of the current director of the National Insurance Board, you could win. Give us a call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call in, be the first. You get this answer, you've won. We've got a caller. Caller, do you know the answer? Hi, caller, are you there? Yes? No? Okay, call us back, 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. If you have the answer, I bet you people are texting. This was supposed to be a call one today, but I guess if you well, let's see. If this person has it, they've won it. Good morning, caller. Do you have the answer to the question?
Well, I didn't hear the question.
Oh my goodness! Who's the current director of the National Insurance Board?
Current director, National Insurance Board.
Okay. Well, we got a winner on the text line, so we'll give it to the winner of the text line. Thanks for calling in. Congratulations. You can pick up your calendar today. Just give the reception your number. And some calendars with all the important dates you need for NIB included in the calendar, so they're very, very helpful. Aaron and Cecil will give away some today as well. All right, so we got to go. DeAndre Cartwright, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'll see you in February.
Oh, yes. I mean, that sounds so far away, but that's next week.
Next
Dwight.
week. It's crazy. How did this happen? I'll be back tomorrow morning, though, with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here at Guardian Radio 96.9. Everybody have a great day. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.